Okay, here we are with another message for the day. Today is going to be Proverbs chapter 6. As you know, the book of Proverbs is basically wisdom for every day. There's 31 days in a month, and there's then an average month, and there's 30 days, and there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. So today's the 6th, so doing chapter 6, just out of ease. My son, if you will risk your family's future to put up collateral for the debts of an acquaintance, if you seal a commitment with a handshake to someone without first knowing the value of his word, then your words may well be the trap that snares you, and your promise may seal your fate. You can't be sure to whom you hitched your future. My son, save yourself. Here's what you need to do. Go to that person who became your master with a handshake. Humble yourself and plead your case. Do not sleep. Do not even give rest until you deal with this. Get out as quickly as possible, as a gazelle runs from the hand of the hunter, or as a bird off the grip of the fowler. Basically, don't co-sign for someone you don't know, or this is advice against co-signing against anyone. Don't go into an agreement with someone unless you know them really, really, really well. In the book of Corinthians, it says, be not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. What fellowship has light with darkness? And it's basically saying here, though, if you signed as a co-signer with someone, you're pretty much caught. But back in the biblical times, everything was signed with a handshake. And if you've given your handshake in a pledge with someone, they said, go undo it. Do whatever you can to undo it. Why should you lose your bed out from under you if he doesn't pay his debt? But you've given yourself, your stuff, in place of him if he doesn't pay his debt. And the Bible just said that wasn't wise to do. But looking at it in a deeper way, just be careful who you go into league with, who you associate yourself with. And basically, co-signing with people is a crazy thing. We go on to the next one. Take lesson from the ant, you who love leisure and ease. Observe how it works and dare to be just as wise. It has no boss, no one laying down the law or telling it what to do, yet it gathers its food for the summer and takes what it needs for the harvest. How long do you plan to lounge your life away, you lazy fool? Will you get out of bed? You say a little sleep, a little rest, a few more minutes, a little nice nap. But soon poverty will be on top of you like a robber. Need will assault you like a well-armed warrior. A lot of people think that biblical-minded people are just like, oh, God takes care of me, and their heads are in the clouds. But the Bible clearly states right here that laziness is not a good thing. Look at the ant and be wise. Doesn't have a ruler or leader, but they're all working. If you look at them, they're always doing something. They're always busy doing something. And the Bible says, like Paul said, whatever you find your hand to do, do with all your strength and with all your heart. But know that people that work their whole life for riches, at the end of their life, the riches are all gone. So I'd say work even harder for the eternal riches. Tell people about God, His love, kindness, righteousness, faith, mercy, grace. These are the things that you won't lose, because Jesus said, don't lay up treasures on earth where moth and rust and steel and thieves break into steal, but lay up treasures in heaven where moth cannot rust, things don't fade away. So as you labor, do it with wisdom. There's a story of a man, you always hear it, he labored his whole life, but then he lost all of it, possibly. Let's say he invested in Enron, and then one day that stock crashed, and all of his hundreds of thousands of bonds and stocks were now worth pennies or less, jumps out the window. So be careful what you labor and invest in doing. It's like zeal without knowledge is not good. Let's say you're working really hard, but you're working at something in the wrong direction. So you need to work hard, but you need to do it with wisdom applied to it. Like, what are you working so hard for? Is it just for that boat and the jet skis? Or is it for a house where your family can live and to help the poor? Because you can lay up treasures here on earth and just amass them to yourself, and you have no reward in heaven. But it says, blessed is the man who lends to the poor. They can't repay him. God will repay him. And Jesus said, hey, I was sick and in prison. You visited me. I was on the street and you clothed me. I was hungry and you fed me. So as you do these things, do it with wisdom. But look at the ant. Next time you're outside and you see a little ant, might this proverb come back to you. They're always working. They're always doing something. Because it says, look at the lazy man. As he sits around, a little sleep, a little folding of the hands, so your poverty is going to come on you like a robbed man and an armed assailant. Laziness surely leads to poverty, and the plans of the diligent surely lead to plenty. But do it with wisdom. Next verse, someone who struts around like a king, struts around taking advantage of unsuspecting souls and deceivers others is to be avoided. With a wink of an eye, a quick shuffle of his feet, and a slight gesture with his hand, he signals his roguish treachery. With a warped mind and twisted heart, he constantly lurks for his own gain at others' expenses, causing friction everywhere he goes. But you watch his actions will bring sudden disaster. In an instant, his life will be shattered, and there will be nothing to save him. I'll end with this next verse. But take note, there are 6 things that God hates. Eyes that look down on others, a proud look, a tongue that can't be trusted, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that conceives wicked plans, feet that sprint toward evil, a false witness who breathes lies, and one who sows discord among the brethren. What does he hate? A prideful look, eyes that look down on others, a tongue that can't be trusted, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that conceives evil plans, feet that sprint toward evil, a false witness who breathes out lies. Can you imagine being an innocent person standing there and someone's just falsely shredding you? God hates that. You know how Jesus was standing there before Pontius Pilate and they're accusing him, he said he was this and that. And when he was before the Sanhedrin, the Jewish court, and they're like, he said he would tear down the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. And he claimed to be this and that. And, they said they brought in many false witnesses, but they still couldn't prove anything on him. But when they said, all right, we adjure you by the living God, you claim to be, you claim to be equal with God or whatever. You claim to be God's son. And he said, it's as you say. But hereafter you'll see the Son of Man coming in the cloud with power and great glory. You'll see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the power and coming in the clouds with great power and great glory. And at that, the Sanhedrin or Jewish court stood up and they ripped their veils off. He's blasphemed. He's made himself equal with God. He was just quoting reality. He is the Son of God. But anyways, remember those things. God hates a proud look. He hates eyes that look down on others, a tongue that can't be trusted, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises evil plans, feet that sprint toward evil. So it's like, slow yourself down in life. What are you all zealous to go do? Are you zealous to go do evil and hurt someone? Are you zealous to go help somebody? Because seriously, God's looking at your heart. He created the eyeball. He created the ear. He created the heart. He designed the whole entire human body. He knows all the thoughts of your minds. And so everything, all your plans are like an open book right before him. So check your heart. Test your heart. Make sure it's full of good things. And may God bless you. And that's another Through the Bible with William Lang.